also, in terms of New York specifically, I never cared about, like, it's crazy expensive there. I never cared about that at all. No. Only because the benefit to being there outweighs what you're paying for. At least in my opinion. I know some people that just live there and like maybe they just are like regular people. They don't necessarily have like the type of ambitions that I had whenever I was there or something like that. Might feel differently. Might be like, oh crap, this place. I'd rather live somewhere where I have like space and this and that, because that's what I kind of want.
Well, I do think there's a lot of like issues in the city too, and a lot of issues that like people who are from New York and are locals that, you know, that they deal with. And I understand also why it's like upsetting to them to be like, we have all these, like, we already have enough issues and all these fucking people are moving here and making it fucking harder for people who have lived here for like decades and generations of families and stuff like that. Yeah. But like on a theory kind of basis, like, yeah, I was like, cool, I would rather pay like $200 more and be broke in New York than be broke here. Mm-hmm. And like also like for me it's not like, oh, I'm gonna move there and I'm gonna live there for the rest of my life. Like I would like to experience. That's like, the other thing. I just like the idea of like living in different places. Which I feel like, you know, a lot of people are just like, oh, I want to move there and like go for my dreams. It's like I just want to see other places, you know. Yeah,
I for me it has been less about the dream. Although I think at the beginning when I was in my teens I was like, yeah, I want to go there for, you know. But as time has passed by, it's been less about the dream and more about how energetic the city is. Yeah. Like everything is just moving so quickly compared to here. Yeah. And then like everything is everything just feels like it's moving somewhere and that you're going somewhere and that you've got to keep moving at that pace.
That's how I felt the first time.
Or you're just going to like get not left behind, but like you're just going to get trampled. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like get out of my way. Why don't you have shit to do? Yeah. The way I have shit to do. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I really like that because as being somebody that's like, it has to be at 100 miles an hour sometimes and constantly doing something or constantly working on something despite whatever job I have I was like, man, that's really refreshing because it feels like everybody's like on my same page. Yeah. Even though everybody's going through their shit or whatever, but like it just felt like that for a second. Yeah. But
I was like, not everybody's on my same page because I was not like they are not. I was like, I'm not on that same page, but it makes me want to be. Like I feel motivated because I'm around. It's like the same idea that like I need to do work at a coffee shop because I'm gonna feel worse about myself. Like if I get distracted or I sit on my phone or whatever and I'm not getting work done and I know that everybody else around me is.
I feel you.
Then I'm like, okay, well, I feel like if I was at home, then I wouldn't have really an excuse. I could do whatever the fuck I want. But because I'm in public and everybody else around me is working,
I can't just like lay down.
I don't want to be a piece of shit. Yeah. Just get to work. It's kind of that same fucking idea. I mean, I do think it's like very romanticized. Like, again, I think there's a lot of issues there and a lot of shit that like that community has dealt with for a really long time, and that a lot of people moving there, you know, and like more gentrification, like a lot of shit is just making those problems worse. But man, I fucking love that city.
Really, for real, for 100%. I
just feel like I'm a better version of myself when I'm there. That feels very like that sounds so cheesy, but I do like I like myself when I'm there better.
I can see that.
I feel like I'm people. More like
you know, I met. I forgot when it was. It was not too long ago. Like in the fall, there was somebody in the friend group that I was with whenever we used to go to the bars a lot. Mm-hmm. Somebody said they came from like Minnesota or
Venezuela?
No, Minnesota. And they were like, I can't be in a big city because I need like the mountains and like the fresh air and like this and that. And they were like, I feel a bit more like myself when I'm there. And I was like, interesting. I don't understand that, but
that's what I mean.
Like, but like, if that's true for them, then it must be true for people that are like, where are my skyscrapers?
That's what I mean. Like I grew up.
Why are things not dirty?
Yeah.
Why are things not where they're not supposed to be? Why are they where they're supposed to be?
Why is everything so organized?
Yeah.
Why is everything so spread out?
Yeah.
That's how I felt. Like, I didn't grow up in like a huge fucking city. I mean, Venezuela is a very small country.
Where did you grow up in Venezuela?
In Valencia. And it's like, we call it like what do we say in Spanish? It's just like a big town, you know? But it's a city. Like, it's a city. and everything is really close together. But my dad always lived in the capital. Like, he's from the capital. He's from Caracas, and we would go all the time. And, like, he always lived there because also, like, he was a producer and he did theater, and, like, you could only really do that in the capital.
Right.
As a job. And, like, I just, if I would have stayed in Venezuela, like, I would have probably gone to college there, and I probably would be working there because, I mean, if I do production, like, that's, again, the only place where I could have fucking worked. But when I went to New York, like, it reminded me of that so much. And I was like, whenever I moved to Houston, I was like, there's cows across from my high school. Like, this is not the place for me.
And you being all the way over there.
I can't, like, it wasn't even like, oh, I moved to Houston. It's like, I moved to the suburbs. I moved to Katy, Texas. That's a very different reality. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
like I like Houston way more once I moved, like, inside the loop. But
gives me, like,
it was such a, like, I was like, what the fuck do y'all do for fun here? Like, what is this? Like, where do you go? Nowhere. Because Walmart is 20 minutes away. So, like, what is there to do? How do you live like this? Like, I've never been that kind of person. Like, as I grow older, I like the outside more, like, but I am not like a small town kind of, like, I don't like that. I get bored so fucking easily. I like the messiness. Like, and people are always like, you say that now because you're young, you know, like, whenever you grow up, it's going to be different. And I'm like, yeah, sure. Yeah.
Maybe.
Guess what? I'm 23 right now. So right now is right now.
Yeah.
Let me worry about 30-year-old me when I'm 30.
Right.
Then I can make the fucking decision to move to fucking Mobile, Alabama if I fucking want.
Ooh,
I don't know why I always bring up
Alabama. Don't go there. Where are you trying to go?
Alabama to me, it's like the peak, like, middle of nowhere in my head. You know what I mean? Like,
I think Mobile is actually close to a bigger city. Isn't
it
close to Birmingham?
What about Utah, right? That's middle of nowhere.
That's middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Oh, but that's scary.
Driving through, like, the desert and seeing those random, like,
we
isolated houses on your way to Vegas. Yeah. You're like, what the fuck is this?
So 2 years in a row for Christmas, I went to, one year I went to San Francisco, and then the other year we drove to Vegas and back. And both those times when we drove through Utah, my God, it was the very first time I ever felt fucking
I just don't
small.
even think about Utah. It's not even on my radar.
It's the first time I ever felt small, but, like, not like insignificantly small. Not like, oh my God, I feel insignificant. No. Like, actually, like,
I'm lost.
Physically small. Like, because you're in the middle and, like, of the desert, and you see, like, the canyons around, and it's actually quite beautiful. Like, when I saw it, and then I'm just like, holy fucking shit. You're saying that,
and I feel like I'm about to have a panic attack.
I
feel so anxious.
When you think about it, yes, but, like, when you're there, it's actually quite...
No.
Oh, never mind.
Panicked the whole time. Here's the thing. Let me tell you.
I was like, this feels kind of like nice.
As we were driving through, you're seeing these random-ass houses in the middle of nowhere, and I'm like, my mindset immediately goes, and your phone doesn't work. You have no signal.
Yeah.
So, like, we're driving
we didn't get the phone from
one road the whole time, random houses in the middle of the desert. I'm like, who the fuck are you that you live out here?
I can't.
I don't trust you. If my car breaks down right now, we're dead. Because I'm not going to go knock on that person's house, because if I do, they're probably going to kill me faster.
Yeah.
I don't trust you.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't trust somebody in the city that came and helped me either.
Well, nobody will come help
people when I'm in the city.
So it wouldn't matter.
But at least
but
maybe
But also, yeah, that's the thing. Like, people are like, New York is so, like, I was kind of scared because I was going by myself, and I was like, listen, I'm going to be around people, you know, sometimes, but also, like, eventually I'm going to have to, like, get to my hotel by myself, and it's, you know, I'm not going to cut my date short at, like, 6. So, and I'm a pretty anxious person. Like, again, I grew up in, like, a very dangerous country, and, like, so I am very, like, paranoid. I'm very, like, aware of my surroundings and all that. But there's always fucking people around. So I never, like, I was like, no, I feel like I mean, I didn't take the subway, like, one night, because they were like, don't fucking take the subway, because the station was like, they were like, don't take it from the state, like, that's not okay. So and like, a taxi was, like, cheap enough, so it was fine. But I, like, felt so fine, just, like, I left my apartment one night at, like, 11 to go get food. It was fine, because there's always fucking people around. So I'm like, listen,
you were also in Manhattan,
chances
right?
are, yeah,
I was also, if you were, like, in Harlem, like, or the Bronx, or Queens,
I stayed in Harlem, like, the first night, and, like, I didn't walk, like, that much. I took the subway to Harlem, and then I walked a little bit to my friend's place. But even then, I'm like, even if you do, like, if you break down the math, and I'm like, there's fucking 50 people right now on the street, there's probably more than that, but let's say there's 50. Even if half of them are awful, the other half are not. I'm fine. Like, it's fine. Even if I get killed, somebody will witness my murder. Yeah. You know what I mean? I don't know. I just don't like.
If I die, they'll just George Floyd me. There'll be a video. There'll be somewhere.
Hey, don't. That's not okay. They will not. Separate issue. Very separate.
Do you know what just say? Smartphones. Coming from like a big city, I have that same paranoia and stuff. So like when I moved from South Side of Chicago to like even just the suburbs, which like really it was down the street, but the neighborhood was completely different. Yeah. And not like, I didn't like the fact that there weren't always like people out and about. Like in my neighborhood, there were always like the kids were out and playing and walking around.
White noise, the white noise of the city is so fucking beautiful.
Oh, I love it.
But with that being said, like scientifically, if there are more people around, they're less likely to help you.
Yeah, because the bystander effect is super real.
Bystander effect, exactly. So like if something happens to you, like everybody's just gonna point to the next person and be like, oh, they'll help, and then nobody ends up helping you, and they just watch you as you get.
And they're just like
Spider-Man.
I know
that's probably scientifically right, but I don't.
But emotionally, I feel good.
Yeah. But emotionally,
I feel secure as fuck.
I'm like, personally, I'm like, yeah, I don't give a fuck.
But
I don't know. I can't explain
how much does that change when you are in the middle of absolutely nowhere and there is 0 people other than you and the killer?
Like that's what I'm saying. If I had to pick one,
but like that trope of the killer living in the middle of nowhere, again, statistically speaking, there are more killers in cities than there are per capita. There are more killers per person, per groups of people in cities than there are killers per groups of people in the middle of nowhere.